dailies and what they have lined up for us, given that today is November the 9th, 2022. I have a copy of the Standard. Let's skim through. So the front page, it's all about what we just mentioned there, a detailed report presented by Kevin Washira, and this is in regard to statements that is, shaking up the political scene, so to speak. The 10-year limit and storm over presidential term limit, a suggestion by the UDA MP to amend the two-term presidential limit, raises political heat, with leaders dismissing it as a retrogressive move that will take the country back to the dark days of political repression. Who are we talking about? The UDA MP is none other than Salah Yakub, who sticks to his guns and insists that debate is to come to Parliament soon. We'll be keeping tabs on that. So yesterday, Koome was being vetted, so to speak. He was on the hot spot there. A detailed report that was prepared here on KBC Channel 1. So this daily has also captured what questions were asked and how he responded. So in as far as graft is concerned, Koome Japhet is quoted saying that graft is rampant in the police force. So what is he going to do about it? Well, we'll also be giving you details of that. Then by 9 a.m. this morning, we're going to be keeping tabs on what is going to be happening at our major airports there. And this is following a directive and ruling made by court yesterday, which is good news for passengers of the struggling national carrier after the Labour Court ordered the striking pilots to resume to work this morning. We're going to be keeping tabs on that if they actually resumed work. And remember this decision by the Labour Court there yesterday, Justin Morris said that the management should not victimize them whatsoever for participating in that industrial action. Then the question of SGR that has made headlines yesterday is also having a section here. Why? Because now the Supreme Court holds the final card on the legality of the SGR contract, and this is after yesterday the Supreme Court allowed an appeal by the Kenya Railways challenging the Court of Appeals, finding that the contract signed by late President Mwai Kibaki's regime was unconstitutional to proceed to a full hearing. So now, judges who have heard the case, we have Justice Isaac Lenaola, Chief Justice Martha Koome, Justice Gatembu Cairo, and Justice Jamila Mohammed. You may be wondering, what are the issues raised? Was the SGR contracting above board? Should the documents used by Okiya Mtata be expunged from the court record? Did the procurement of the SGR contravene the Constitution? And is the battle an academic exercise? Yesterday from the dailies, we had a full splash saying that, the current Transport Cabinet Secretary Murkomen there was just giving, piecemeal documents in regard to this particular contract, and it emerged that for him to give, or rather for this particular contract to, be made public, or rather full disclosure, if you like, he needs authorization, or rather Kenya needs authorization from the Chinese government. We're going to be keeping tabs on that. And what I can tell you is that the business desk has gotten a copy of the abridged version of the SGR deal there, so to speak, and some of the issues raised there include that within the contract, or rather the agreement, is that materials that were used in the construction of the Madaraka Express, the SGR, were sourced from China. And in as far as, May this year marked 5 years since the operationalization of the Madaraka Express, the Chinese nationals still continue running the show on the SGR, despite a promise to have a skills transfer and enable the locals actually take up these managerial as well as operational roles. These are just some of the issues that we have been looking at, trying to put this matter of the standard gauge railway into perspective. So from the front page, we also have a story that Governor now Barasa appeared before the EACC over an 18 billion shillings Ketraco scandal, where the EACC officials are believed to have interrogated other former government officials. Remember, he resigned, that is Fernandez Baraza resigned as a Ketraco in February to contest for the Kakamega governor seat which he secured. 18.4 billion shillings as the amount of money paid as penalties from the deemed generated energy between May 2017 and September 2018, and this is according to evidence that was presented, or the PIC have. We're going to be keeping tabs on that too. Other stories that are making headlines: disabled police officers are to wait longer for allowances approval. This is affected officers are crying foul over the delay. Now, according to the NPSC chair, it says that the tax exemptions were suspended to harmonize the allowances, so a longer wait for disabled police officers, for the allowances. And talking about the wait, is that now employers call for a review on the plan on the NSSF contributions. Now, according to the FKE Chief Executive Jacqueline Mugo, says the proposal could lead to double payments. Remember, the NSSF Act in itself, it seeks to increase contribution to 6% of gross salary. So it means you do 6%, your employer does another 6. You meet at the middle, we're looking at around 12. So now currently a worker in employment is deducted between 250 shillings to 1,700 monthly. And this is an addition to PAYE, pay as you earn, which allows the state to take up 1 shilling for every 10 shillings and to the first 24,000 shillings, and 1 shilling for every 4 shillings in the next 8,332, and 1 shilling for on every 3 shillings amounts above 32,332. Well, so if you are in informal employment, the question would your payslip actually be able to carry the 6% increase when it comes to NSSF, including PAYE and such? Well, that puts a cap on matters in the headlines. Remember, our website remains open to your perusal, and we invite your feedback. You can get us on KBC Channel 1. Now we hand you over to Victor. I'm Regina Manyara. I wish you a pleasant viewing ahead.